Hey, welcome back to Up in Smoke, all about barbecue. I'm Becky, and it is finally fall here in South Texas, which to me means pie season. So I am going to make my favorite caramel pecan pie, and I think my husband's favorite too.
Yes.
Because he always asks for it all the time. So we always have this for Thanksgiving, Christmas. I think sometimes on New Year's we've made it too. But anyway, it's been a favorite. A friend told me about it probably about 12 or 13 years ago. I never used to like pecan pie because I'd only ever had it made with like corn syrup and it was just kind of not that great. Then, like I said, a good friend told me about caramel pecan pie and total game changer. This is the best stuff ever. So what we start with, we're gonna make our caramel sauce first. And I have a 1/4 cup of butter just kind of cubed up in my little pan here. And I have 40 of these little caramels all unwrapped and put in there, which is a fun job. Now, yeah, you could probably use caramel syrup, or I don't know if there's like a block of caramel, bigger blocks. But for me, I know how many of these to put in to get it good and tasty, and it just works. And the Kraft brand just works because I've tried other brands and it's not so good. It kind of doesn't get as nice and creamy. They don't melt as well. So this will get you nice results every single time. So we're just going to kind of over low heat, medium heat, actually let this start to melt. I'm also going to add in about a 1/4 cup of water here just to kind of thin it out a little bit because it's going to be nice and gooey. So we're going to let these get all nice and melty, and then we're going to get the rest of our filling ingredients all put together, and we're going to move over there to do that. Our caramel sauce is all nicely melted together and sitting over here starting to cool down a little bit. We don't want this super hot when we mix it with our other ingredients because one of our ingredients is eggs, and we do not want this hot sauce to cook these eggs and scramble them in our filling. That would not be good. So I've already also taken these eggs out of the fridge before I started my caramel sauce so they could kind of come up to room temperature and give us a little bit of a start. So we're just going to crack these eggs in here. Oops. Don't want them to roll away from you. That's always fun when they're laying on your counter and they start rolling around. So there's 2. Then last one. 3 eggs going in. Make sure you don't get any shells in there. You only want to crunch pecans, no eggshells. So I'm going to wash my hands real quick. I'll be right back. All right, clean hands. So now I'm going to go ahead and just whisk these eggs a little bit just because I like getting them started getting beaten before we start putting everything else in. Then we're going to add our sugar next. This is 3/4 cup of sugar, regular old sugar. Then we're going to add in 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Not a whole lot, just a little bit, obviously. There we go. There's that. Then, if I can get this open, we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla. There we go. Then we're going to mix this all up. And I'm left-handed and I turned that the wrong direction. So this is my pie filling mixing bowl. It has one of those nice little rubber bottoms so it doesn't go anywhere on the counter. It just stays right there. So nice. So we're going to get this all mixed in. Make sure our sugar gets fully incorporated with our eggs and everything. Then with our caramel sauce, we are going to start to add that very slowly. Finish up with this whisk here. I'm going to take it out. So there we go. You can kind of hear that the sugar is not quite so grainy anymore. It's kind of gotten really nicely incorporated. You'll know it when you're making it. You'll know the sound. So now I'm going to go put this in the sink real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, like I said, we are going to very slowly add our caramel sauce just because it's still a tiny bit warm and we want to kind of very gently heat up the rest of our sauce. We don't want it getting to these eggs getting shocked. So I'm going to use this spatula now and I'm just going to start to kind of fold this in with the eggs. Like I said, you don't want scrambled eggs in your filling. That would not be good. But it helps to taking them out of the fridge before you start with everything and kind of letting them come up to room temperature a little bit. So we're going to slowly add this in, very slowly and carefully, and then we'll finish our filling. Okay, I finished mixing in my caramel sauce, my warm caramel sauce to my eggs very slowly. At a certain point you can add, larger amounts each time, but still, if you add too much too fast, it doesn't end well when it's still a little warm. Yeah, trust me on that one. So now we're ready to add our chopped pecans. I have 1 1/3 cups of pecans that I've chopped. Now probably about the second or third Thanksgiving that I ever made this recipe, I was working away, made my sauce, made my filling ingredients, got it all ready, poured it into my pie shell and turned and looked, and there were my chopped pecans still sitting on the counter in the measuring cups. I had forgotten to add them at this point, so it was a lot of fun when I had to put them into the pie shell and try to gently stir it in inside of that. So don't forget your pecans. They're kind of the main ingredient in your pie. So yeah, I don't mind telling on myself. I do goofy stuff like that every now and then. So we've got this all mixed in. Now this pie filling really makes enough for a 10-inch pie. For me right now, I have a pre-made gluten-free crust because that's what I need. And so I'm going to pour this in. You'll have, if you use a 9-inch, it's a 9-inch, and if I didn't say that already. So if you have a little bit left, you can actually put the rest into a buttered ramekin or small foil pan and make yourself a little personal pecan tart, caramel pecan tart, which works nicely too because I've done that with the leftover filling too. So we're going to go ahead and just pour this in here and be careful to not run it over or overfill it. So here we go. It looks all yummy and caramely and gooey, which it's going to be delicious. So I make this all the time, bake this, like I said, usually in my oven. But started hearing about, baking pies on the grill. And mainly I've heard somebody talking about baking an apple pie on the grill. And I thought, caramel pecan pie, because we're all about the barbecue here. So we are going to put this on the grill today on our SnS. Now, one thing I've also done, you don't have to do this part, but this is just me. I've always done this since I've made this. I save a few of the really nice looking pecan halves out after I chop my pecans. And I just place a few nicely, nice little design. And it also gives me little lines. I leave some little lines so it's easier to cut through because these top pecans can make it a little hard once you're trying to cut up your slices. And you don't want that, but I just make this little kind of star pattern sort of with it just to make it nice and pretty. There. Now another thing that I always do when I'm baking pies, my mom taught me this, is I take some foil, just a thin, kind of a thin strip, and since this is the heavy duty foil, it's a little bit longer. I'm going to see how far this will stretch. And I'm going to put it around the edge. Now I'm going to get one more piece here. Crump this in a little bit. Get one more piece, and we're going to protect our crust from getting burned. This works great, especially in the oven. Should work the same way on the grill. But we're gonna leave this on. I'm gonna grab some tape to tape these two pieces together a little bit. Ow, just cut myself. That's not good. Gotta be careful with that foil. It's dangerous stuff. There we go. Make this nice and tight around our pie. There we go. And kind of crimp it over a little bit just to shield that crust. So then we're going to leave this on for at least about the first 45 minutes of bake time, 45 to 50, and then we'll remove this. And then as the pie finishes baking, then the crust will just get nice golden brown and we won't have burned, singed crust. So then we're going to get this out onto the SnS. So we're ready to get our pie onto the SnS Kettle Grill. To keep this, make sure and keep this at temperature since it's a breezy day. I have my ThermalWorks Billows fan set up as well. So we're just gonna put this straight on here. Ooh, don't touch the grill. And I've got some pecan wood chips in there as well. Give us a little pecan smoke for our pecan pie. And of course I have some foil laid in down below on the charcoal grate, just in case my pie decides to run over, which it shouldn't at this point. Now that we got it on cleanly, that can be sometimes the difficult part, is transferring it from your countertop to your oven or to your grill or wherever. But we made it, it's on, it's good, we're good. We're gonna check it in about 50 minutes, like I said, take that foil off the crust and check it out, see how much longer it needs, and we will do that in just a second for you. So it's been 50 minutes. 50, not 15. And we're gonna check our pie. I wanna see how it's doing. So it's looking good, but it's not quite where I want it before I take off my foil. So we're actually gonna leave the foil on for a little bit longer so this can get a little less jiggly. Because it's very jiggly out to the edges. I want it just where it's just a little bit jiggly, kind of in the very center of the pie before I remove my crust, my crust shield, we'll call it that. So we'll do that in hopefully just a couple minutes. Gonna check this pie out again, see how we're doing. Okay, now it's getting some nice color on it.
Yummy.
Actually, our crust is already getting some nice color, so I think I'm actually gonna go ahead and leave my little foil shield on it and let it keep baking. It's not done yet. Gonna need about another 10 to 20. And then we'll be taking it in at that time.
All right.
Our pie should be ready to come off. Let's take a look at this. And, ooh, yeah, it is looking good. Here, I'm just gonna tear this foil away. And
wow,
looking tasty.
Oh my word.
You think? Whoa. You think you'll want to taste this? That's done.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have to let it cool for a while or you'll be yelling at me at how hot it is.
Yeah, I don't want to burn my tongue.
So usually when I bake this pie, I'm baking it like the day before Thanksgiving or Christmas, so it has a whole day to cool off, but we're not gonna wait a whole day for this. So we're gonna give it probably about an hour before we cut into it, but that's coming next. It's time to taste our smoked caramel pecan pie. I'm gonna go ahead and let my favorite taster come in.
Yes!
And we're gonna check this out.
All right.
I'm gonna keep this on top of my foil pan because this crust, what are you doing?
I was helping you hold it in place.
Oh, I got this, so it's okay. I appreciate it, but I got this.
Never mind.
So I am, what did I say? Oh, I was keeping this, that little pecan one in there. It smells good, huh?
You can definitely smell something going on. Doesn't
Smell something going
I
on.
don't know if it kind of almost, I know there's
I don't think I cut all the way through.
This is going to sound weird. It kind of smells bacony to me.
Bacony?
I don't know.
Huh. Let's see. It's always fun
Maybe
getting
it's
the
the
first
crust.
piece out of here. Ooh, let's put this closer. Let's staying together nicely.
Yep.
There you go.
It's got a
Taste
nice,
that up and see.
a nice
how it
smoked
is.
look to it, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
yeah. It's got a very smoked look on that one side. Like,
yeah.
I could have probably turned it about half a turn or full turn about halfway through the cooking.
Okay.
Do you taste smokiness? I'd hope so.
I do. And
But I'm hearing a but there.
No. You know, some of these videos that we do, this is the first run. We've not smoked one of these before, so I didn't.
That's what I was trying to say
I was
earlier.
curious to see if we would actually have a smoked essence.
Let me see.
Throughout.
Keep talking.
And it's actually all the way in. It's all the way through.
Yeah. In the middle, that first bite from the very middle of the pie, yeah, you taste some nice smokiness.
And it's not overpowering either.
It's not.
But just a little, just enough.
And this pie was already super tasty, and now, yeah, that actually,
Yeah.
I was like thinking, oh, this would be too hard to do with trying to do all the Thanksgiving prep too, because I just want the grill set up for the turkey. I don't want to have to worry about resetting it, you know, making, because like I said, I always make pie at least a day before if I can, 2 days before, depending on our busy schedule. But yeah, this might be worth resetting the grill for. Now, if you have a pellet grill, you don't have to worry about that as long as you just have your pellet hopper full, I'm sure. I don't have one of those, so I don't fully know for sure. Cleaning out your ashes and everything. Right. But yeah, this was.
I had expectation that we wouldn't be able to get any taste. It'd be very faint, maybe just on the top layer. But this is through and through, so it's very surprising to me.
Really good.
Very delightful for me to learn that this is yet another hit. So
another hit. You know what would go good with this? You know what would be really good with this?
What's that?
Well,
ice cream.
Irish coffee.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, except you don't like coffee.
Well, I might have to make the exception.
Because of the Irish part?
Yes.
So yeah, smoked caramel pecan pie. It's pretty darn tasty. It's very delicious. Really great for Thanksgiving, Christmas, holidays, or just anytime. Pie is great.
Anytime.
So thank you so much for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we will see you next time.